Hi friends, this is Shiva. Welcome back to Shiva Notes. Please subscribe the channel and click on bell icon for updates. Thank you. As part of the course, today we are discussing about annotations. In JUnit 5, we are having different annotations like test, display name, before all, after all, before each, after each, tag, nested, disable, extend with. We are having a number of different annotations. Today we are going to discuss about lifecycle annotations. Okay, let's just we'll have a look at the lifecycle annotations. Later we'll start the coding. JUnit 5 lifecycle annotations. What are the lifecycle annotation? Basically, to represent any test case, we are going to have one annotation like @test annotation. Suppose if we want to perform any activity before each test, then we are having before each annotation. And suppose if we want to perform any operation after each test, we are having after each annotation. If we want to perform before performing all the tests, we want to perform one action like initialization, DB connection, opening the complete session. So we are going to have one more annotation like before all. After executing all the test cases, all the test methods, if we want to suppose whatever we performed in before all the initial action, we want to tear down that action, whatever it is. Suppose if it is DB connection, we are going to close the connection. It is after all. These five annotations are called lifecycle annotations. Whatever the remaining annotations are like display name, tag, nested, disable, extend with. There are some other annotations. These are all some actions performed whatever the existing test test methods. So these are all these five are called as life cycle annotations. So now we'll start with coding how that test method is going to work, how before each method is going to work, how before all is going to work. Just we'll have a look at that. Now I'm taking Gradle. Sorry, I'm working in IntelliJ. We are having different IDs like IntelliJ Eclipse. We are creating new project here. We can create Maven project or Gradle project. Maven and Gradle both are build management tools. So we are going to discuss what is Maven, what is Gradle, separate series we are going to start nearby. So for this session I am going to work with the Gradle, and in the next session one more project we are going to create in Maven project. So we are going to cover both Gradle and Maven. I'm creating one project like JUnit demo. Yeah, in Maven we are going to have pom.xml. Like that, we're having build.gradle in IntelliJ. So sorry, we're having build.gradle in Gradle project. So import how to add the dependency for JUnit 5 dependency into build.gradle, where we are going to get it. Basically, yeah, we're having source like this is JUnit.org, JUnit 5, the official JUnit 5 JUnit organization document. So there we're having uh, running tests, build support, and we can go with the configuration test engines dependencies. We are having these are dependencies for Gradle project. In this section, dependencies section, we need to add this. We can add in this way, otherwise we're having one more we can add in different way. JUnit 5 Maven dependency. Here we will go to Maven repository. In this Maven repository, we need to add, to work with JUnit Jupyter, we need to add two dependencies. One is JUnit Jupyter API and another one is JUnit Jupyter engine. So here in JUnit Jupyter API, this is in something like alpha session. Now we can latest one is 5.6.2. we can go for this. See, this is Maven dependency and this is Gradle dependency. If we want to work with Gradle, we can add this dependency to in IntelliJ. Otherwise, suppose if we are creating a Maven project and we are working with Maven, then we can add this dependency to in pom.xml. So we can take this one, and as I said, one more is there. We need to add JUnit Jupyter engine also. Here also same version we need to take here, 5.6.2. Here also we are going to take this and we are going to add in IntelliJ Gradle project, right? So after this, to test with this, JUnit, yep, okay, we are going to now we can check like all are imported or not. JUnit demo, sorry, use JUnit platform we need to add actually. Now we can try with this. Now build successful. All the all the libraries are added here, everything. See, Jupyter, JUnit 5 engine, all the jar files are added. Complete files are added in external libraries. So we're ready to go right now. We can create a test class here. Java class. Sample one test, one Java class we are creating here. Now public void test method, we can uh, in Eclipse the shortcut for write thing sysout. Here we are going to write syso. We can type. We are going to get system.out.println in Eclipse, as well as in the same in like in IntelliJ we are having sout sout. Then click on enter. We are going to see. We are going to have system.out.println. Just simple test method we added. This is the uh, in this in this section we are going to in this session we are going to see what are the annotations we are representing. Actual the code whatever we are writing inside methods, it's not related to anything. It's just simple system.out.println methods. But in whenever we are having one framework design, then we are going to see the exact code, how it is extending, how we are using in multiple test in the Java files. We are going to see all the things there itself. So now we can execute this. Test successfully passed. We can see like, see, test method, it's got successful and it's working fine. Now we can create one more test. Suppose if I write like est method, test method 2 and test method 1 here. Now we can execute this. We'll see what is how it is going to print. See, even though we write the test method in the first and est method in the second order, but still second method is going to execute it. It's executed first, and the first method is going to it's going to execute it in the second way. Why? Because it's going to take in alphabetical order. T will come after E. That's why it's executed for the in the second order. Okay, suppose how can we then how can we see like in whatever the order we write, we need to execute in that particular order. We'll see in this we'll see that in the next session. So we're going to see like test method 1, test method 2 here. So now we are able to execute both. We are able to execute successfully. It's working fine. But I want to perform some action before each test. Okay, then we are having before each annotation public void before each method sout before each method. Right, now we'll try with this, and okay, we'll see after each method also. Then we can see after each. Right, this is the method. Now we can see what is the output. See here, this is the only actual the test methods are only two, but we here it's performed action for before each method and after each method. Whatever the code represent in that particular method, it's going to execute for each test. Okay, see, this is the test method 1. Okay, this session is got completed, and next session got next instance is opened for each at the rate test is having each instance actually. So in same thing for the test method 2, new instance created. So uh, before each method, test method 2, and after each method. So if I want to perform one action like, okay, one example for this one is, suppose here to at the rate test method I want to work with the different logins. Okay, one is customer login and one is admin login. One test method 1 is customer login and test method 2 is admin login. So before each method is having like opening the browser for any for any login, we need to open the browser, that is before each. Okay, before each method it's a browserly launch, and in after each browser just browser.quit, we're going to close that browser. Now we are going to see before all method. Before all method, this method is going to execute before all the before all at the rate test annotations, and it's going to perform only one time for complete class. Okay, now we'll see public void before all method s out before all method. Right, same thing we can see like in after all also. Right, see, now complete life cycle we got it here. Before all, only once for a class it's going to execute, and before each it's going to execute for before starting of every test, and after each it's going to execute once the at the rate test is completed, the that action completed immediately before after each is going to execute. And at the end of the session, at the end of all the tests in the classes, we are going to execute after all method it's going to execute. So it is also going to perform only one time action for a single for complete class. Now we are going to execute this and we will see it's got failed. Why it is got failed? Before all method, public void sample1 before all method must be static unless the test class is annotated with some blah blah blah. Okay, now we need to static, we need to provide static here. Okay, now we can execute once. We'll try one more time. Let's see what's going to display here right now. Okay, it's successfully worked out. Now we'll see what is the exact output. See, before all method one time executed, first time it's a initialization for all the tests. Next, before each method, test method 1, after each method, and again that session, that instance session is got over. Immediately next instance session is started. Before each method, test method 2, and after each method. Finally, after all method. This is the life cycle. These are annotations as part of life cycle. Good. Why static we need to represent for before all? Before all is going to perform only once for all the tests. Why we are mentioning static here? As I said, @test is going to create a separate instance. Okay, suppose if we are having 100 instances, it's going to be confused, like which instance it needs to take. As we know, all the static methods are class level. Okay, where static is not going to represent instance level. So we are going to use it needs to, before all it needs to execute, it needs to represent declare like with static. Okay, then I don't okay, let's go in another way. Now I'm going to create one more sample 2. Here public void test 2. Okay, this is the test method for second test class, sample 2. Sout test method 1 in sample 2, right? Okay, now here for this one also we are going to, before each public void before each 2. Okay, here we are going to sout before each in sample 2. We are going to have after also here. After each after each 2, after each in sample 2, and we are going to, what else we are having in the life cycle annotations? Before all annotation public void before all 2 okay, s out before all in before all method, right? This is after all okay. Now here we are having complete life cycle annotations, before all, before each, after each, and we are having one test method. We are going to execute this. Same issue. What is the issue here? We need to represent, we need to declare this with public static. Why we are declaring with static? Each test is going to have single instance, so it's going to have static. This before all is going to execute only once, that is class level, so we need to declare with static. Now we are going to execute this. Successfully executed. So before all, before each test method, after each, after all. Good. We got well versed with complete life cycle annotations. Good. Now I want to extend extends with sample1, right? Suppose if we extend, if we use extends, what it's going to do? It's going to extend the base, it's from the base class. Suppose if we want to work with the base class, just say if we want to use some of the methods or some of the functionalities in the base class, we can extend that base class, we can utilize in child class. Okay, that is parent, child, super, subclass, different terminologies are there. So we are going to, now we can see, now we are executing only sample2, right? We are executing this, we'll see. Successfully test cases got passed. How many tests are there in test1 method? 2 test methods. Now okay, we'll do one thing. Okay, unnecessarily we were going to get confused. This is test method 1 and test method 1, just in first class second method. Now we are going to execute one more time. Okay, we will see the results right now. Before all method, before all, before each method, before each in sample2, test method 1, okay, test method after each in sample2, after each method, before each method, before each method in sample2, right? See that those 2 methods and one more method, 3 methods executing successfully. But the thing is here, before all, what is the concept of before all actually? Why before? Suppose if we declare one method with before all, what it's going to perform? It's going to execute once for a complete class, but when we are extending some other class, it's importing, it's executing the whatever is the parent class before all method, and as well as subclass child class before all also. both it's going to execute, but it's not the correct way. Suppose before all method means the database is going to invoke at a time for if we are using sample2 class or sample1 class, only once it's going to invoke. So now to work with that, how can we go? There is a class, there is one annotation or one concept in Java is called overriding, right? Override. Now I tried with I'm trying to override before all method. To override the method, what what is the basic rule? The method names should be same, right? Now if I am using override method in sample2, whatever is the functionality in sample2, sample2 test, sample2 class, only that before all is going to execute. Still, why method does not override? Okay, so there is to override this, static methods cannot override. We can delete this and we can delete this. We can do that. Okay, now we'll see what is going to happen. What is saying? Same. Must be static unless the test class is annotated with test instance lifecycle per class. Okay, we need to declare with this. Okay, at the rate test instance is the interface, test instance is the class. This is going to say, this is going to inform to JUnit, this is the only test instance for this particular complete life cycle, and this is the only method for this is the only before all method for this particular complete class. This is the we in this particular life cycle you need to consider this only. Okay, now here before each also we can override. Why it is showing error? Okay, before each you can try from your side, same concept. You can override to override any method, you need to, okay, this is after all method, that's why it is showing this. Here also we need to mention the same method name, right? And now we can see like how it is going to display the results. Successfully all the tests got passed. Now you see only before all, see, okay, only this before all is going to execute. Whatever we're extending superclass before all method, we're not invoking that particular method. Instead of for before executing all the tests, we are invoking only the whatever this the extending class and subclass or child class, that before all method only we are going to invoking here. Okay, like that you can try with the before each also. Before each also same, we can override the before each methods for from superclass. These are all different annotations, lifecycle annotations in Jupyter. That's it for the session. I hope you like the video. Please subscribe the channel, and please provide any comments. If any suggestions are there, please provide the comments. Thank you.